This will be an interesting one. Shout out to Turning Point USA. You have these debates with the likes of Charlie Kirk that you're going to see, Vivek Ramaswamy. This was from I think from last year. This video, but this is interesting. They kind of like debate the young kids, the college kids about abortion. Baby deletion, other political issues, Republican, Democrat stuff, all the stuff, student loans, whatever's the hot topic. That's what they'd be debating the college kids on, right? Pro-choice, pro-life, and all that. So they're going to talk about baby deletion, and this young lady is going to pose a really stupid question. I don't know how she even thought of this, but Charlie Kirk is going to fire back a very simple question for her, which was supposed to be a layup for her, but she ends up kind of showing particularly young women's true colors, particularly young American women's true colors. So this is very interesting. You got to look at this. you just got to take a look at this.
If the only way to ban abortion forever would be to bring back slavery, would you do it?
No.
No?
No. I wouldn't bring back slavery to try to limit murder. No.
Okay.
But what kind of outrageous question is that, by the way?
I'm just curious. Just yes or no.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
So, say that again. Ask that again.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
No.
It was an honest answer. Okay. It was an honest answer.
Yeah.
I could tell you've thought deeply about this topic.
Yes,
okay, thank you. Great. Yep.
This is why I tell people don't debate women. They're just gonna go down with the abyss. They're just like, she don't even realize how crazy she sounded right there. And shout out to Vivek Ramaswamy. What's his name? Vivek Ramaswamy at the time. Just no need to elaborate. No need to elaborate. No need to elaborate. How do you even defend this? How do you even defend it? But it shows you, particularly what young American men don't understand, or what American men don't understand. This is why I tell dudes, if your girl went to college, that is a red flag, because I'm pretty sure she did not have that kind of opinion. Like when she was in high school, I'm pretty sure she didn't have this kind of opinion when it comes to baby deletion. I might be stretching it there, but I'll say freshman year of high school, she did not have this kind of opinion on baby deletion. Remember the video that kind of went viral in one of those schools? It was a bunch of black kids in the school, and it was the one black dude. He was kind of debating the girl. He's like, why are you so concerned about baby deletion? He said, you 15 years old. We all 15 years old. Why are you so concerned? Well, there's a reason why, because they get started early. But back to what I'm saying, they will go down with the ship when it comes to baby deletion. That's the only thing that the liberals are really offering to them, and they're literally willing to accept the whole world going to SHIT, or they're willing to sacrifice whatever just to have the right to delete their own kids, right? So people just thought this kind of evil, or this kind of evil way of thinking, is only limited to some communities. No. Young women are going out of their way, not fighting for equality, not fighting for whatever they want to say they're fighting for. They're fighting for the rights for them to be a 304 without consequences, and the right to delete their kids. That's what all of this feminism and all this other stuff, that's really what it's all about. Because the question that was posed back to her was very simple. If you had the choice to limit human suffering, but you would have to ban abortions forever, but you would be able to limit human suffering, would you keep having the baby deletions? And she said, yeah. It almost reminds me, yeah, she said, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. But she basically said, I don't care about human suffering. I just want to be able to have the right to delete my kid. It almost reminds me of, have you ever seen the other interviews where it's a guy that interviews random young women on the street? These are the people that matter, the young people, right? And he's going around asking, would you rather give up your right to vote or give up your right to a baby deletion? And basically 9 out of 10 of the women are always they say without hesitation, I'd rather give up my right to vote. It's wild. It's really wild when you think about it. It's really wild. But you know, here we are.
Only way to ban abortion forever would be to bring back slavery. Would you do it?
No.
So that was a weird question. This is why I'm not like, I don't know how you can be a black person and be a liberal, especially after what Malcolm X has said. He said the liberals are basically using, this was in the 60s, he said this, mind you, liberals use black people or black issues as a political football so they can pass whatever they want to pass. So this is something that I was very conscious of when I was even in high school, where I don't want to be used by particularly Caucasian and small hat liberals. I don't want to be used as a political football. You know what I mean? I don't want to be used like that. Like, where does slavery? What kind of question was that? What does slavery got to do with abortion? But like I said, I don't understand how you could be a black liberal in 2025, because liberals, they just kind of just see you as something that they could use, a social issue that they could just use you. It's just you're just there to be used. They don't really care about you. They're just using you to virtue signal. Like, I don't even know, like, you can see by the smugness of her face, like she thinks she's asking like a smart question. I'm like, what kind of question is that? This question makes no sense.
No. I wouldn't bring back slavery to try to limit murder. No.
Okay.
But what kind of outrageous question is that, by the way?
I'm just curious. Just
No,
yes or
but-
no.
If the only
You already said no. You already said no, but this is why I say you can't argue with women. You can't argue with women, particularly younger women. So right here, this is where he posed back his question.
way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
If for her to even have to think about that, this is why I be seeing dudes, oh man, we got to get women back into religion. No, this is how they really feel. If how they really feel is how they really feel, you got to respect it, and you just got to move on. This is why why do you think MGTOW and all these people, they're just saying just stay away from it? They're just, or passport bros, they're just like, this is a bad batch. You can't fix it, guys. You cannot fix this problem. You can't fix it.
Say that again. Ask that again.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
No.
That's crazy work. That's crazy. And these are the people that are allowed to vote. This is the person, and then she's going to end up being a mother. Watch, guys. She's going to be a mother in the future. And to the people that think she doesn't have a boyfriend or she's not sleeping with nobody, y'all are completely out the loop. Completely out of it. Some conservative simp is going to try to save this in the future. They're going to try. But this is how she really feels about kids when given the freedom. You know what I mean?
It was an honest
Even the crowd is shocked at her answer.
answer. Okay. It was an honest answer.
Yeah.
I could tell you thought deeply about this topic.
Yes.
Okay.
And really low-key, by him calling her a dumbass, that was actually saving her. But I think that's how she really feels. I really think that's how she feels. This is why when I see certain athletes or where you'll see women all of a sudden they just want to keep a kid out of nowhere. You're just like, what? Like, I always got it now. I think it's just fair for me to ask how hard they march for baby deletion, how hard they fight for it. You know what I mean? It's like, or when they thought they were about to lose their baby deletion rights, even though that's not what was happening. Seeing how they almost like rioted over this stuff. Now, when I see particularly a young lady or a lady in general, if I see them pregnant, I think it's just fair enough to ask, why did you keep this one? Because they're always complaining about what it's going to do to my body and the labor and all this stuff. But yeah, you have these broads keeping babies by athletes, keeping babies by dudes with multiple baby moms, keeping babies with men with money. So I'm like, you're willing to put yourself through the so-called hardest pain on earth just to prove a point? What kind of evil person do you have to be to do that? So I think anytime a woman is pregnant, particularly a young woman without no man in the picture, you have to, I think it's required. Why it should be like required. Be like, yo, why are you keeping this one? Especially if there's like no man in the picture. You have to ask, because you'll have women that will keep kids just out of spite. I'm talking about just purely out of spite. So this is the conundrum. Because what happens is somebody's going to knock her up. Someone of value is going to knock her up. Or some politician's going to knock her up. I don't know. She ends up becoming a secretary somewhere or working somewhere. She ends up, sleeping with a guy above her league. And then she gets, quote unquote, knocked up by accident. And I put that in quotation marks. And then she's going to talk about, oh, I didn't know. And then when the guy asks, oh, when are you going to delete it? She's going to get offended. That same woman right here. You knock her up and you're going to ask her to delete the kid. And she's going to get offended. Same woman here. Same woman that said she wouldn't limit human suffering if the trade-off was banned abortion forever. Right? She puts deleting her kids over human suffering. And this is going to be the same woman that's going to be virtue signaling to all the other conservatives about, kids in Africa are starving, or in free school lunches and all this stuff. And when asked a pretty simple question, a layup, she still chose baby deletion over everything. You know what I mean? It's very interesting when you think about it. Very interesting when you think about it. I think that's how she feels, though. But that's not something you got to trust. If you knock her up in the future and for some reason she wants to keep it, she'll just keep it. This is why I tell men, please be careful with women like this. Let's look at the comment section real quick. Right? Somebody said when she won this argument in the shower, there was no follow-up question. Somebody said slavery ain't got nothing to do with abortion. Yeah, that was just a weird question, but that's not even what I'm focused on. Yep. Right here, murdering babies is more important than limited human suffering. But that question that Charlie Kirk gave her was a layup, but it should show you the mentality. And by the way, the athletes that are messing with this bra, please don't knock her up, because I know she's saying all this stuff now. Somebody said she didn't understand the question. Nah, I think she did. That's why she told him to ask it twice. She understood the question. I've been trying to tell people, when it comes to pro-choice and pro-life, it's just whatever she's feeling. It's whatever's convenient for her. It's whatever's convenient for her. If she doesn't feel like she can't benefit financially from keeping the kid, she'll abort it. Or she doesn't think genetically wise keeping this kid would help her or help her look good in the future, she'll delete it. This is how it works. But if you have money, or if she just wants to keep it just to spite you, she'll just keep it, even after saying all of this. Remember when I showed you I don't know if people remember the live streams I did about Anthony Edwards, those text messages between him and the OnlyFans broad? Oh, I deleted a kid before and now I don't want to do that no more. Of course you don't want to do that no more. Anthony Edwards knocked you up. Now all of a sudden she Catholic. So yeah, women like this are very, very dangerous, because what happens is you'll have like these athletes or these people with multiple baby moms, and they're just thinking, oh, she'll delete it. Nope. Please be careful. These be the ones that will keep a kid out of spite. If she's willing to say that, if she's willing to say what she just said about limited human suffering, choosing murdering her own kids over ending, or limiting human suffering, I mean, what else won't she do? What else won't she do? Now, in her, what's crazy is in her mind, she thought she won that conversation, or she won that debate, but she kind of just outed herself as a legit psychopath. Like, something's wrong. This is an evil woman. But like I said, she's never gonna think she's doing anything wrong, because dudes are still gonna sleep with her. So let me know what you think about this lady. And we had ladies in the comment section. If you had a choice to limit human suffering, but at the expense of ending baby deletions, would you do it? Is it really a hard question for you? That's fascinating. It's fascinating to think about.